Coming to you from some poorly groomed grass in the back of a parking lot somewhere in Chesapeake, Virginia. It's Wend Wellness workout time, baby! Let's go! Nobody around to hear anything. I don't think anyone's ever been back here. How you guys doing? All right. So, you know how it goes. Doesn't matter where we are, right? We get it done every day. That's Wend Wellness for you. And today's hit day. So, hope you enjoyed that bicep blaster yesterday. For those of you that were with us. And today's a lot of jumping, agility. It's good stuff today. I'm gonna get through the moves. We'll get ready to go. And I do want to say, hey, happy birthday, Kara Anderson. I hope you're having a great day. Love your family. You guys are great. Really enjoy it today. All right. So, all right. It's the standard. You know how it goes. 15 seconds, 16 moves, 5 rounds, a minute in between each. Let's get it rocking. And at the end, we're going to talk about congestive heart failure some more. And today is the diastolic portion of our heart failure conversation. First up, knee fly jump lunge. So, you're starting in a lunge. You're gonna knee fly, land, jump lunge. Other leg, jump. We'll do that twice in a row. So it's gonna be difficult. Next up, climb donkey kick. You know climb donkey kick. Choose to climb. Donkey kick. Climb donkey. Next up, frog hop jump. We've done these. So this is our frog hop, right? Jump. Frog hop, jump. Frog hop jump. Next up, scissor hop. So you're in a scissor stance. You go back and forth. Hop. Hop. And we'll do it the other way. The other foot starting in front. Scissor hop. Diagonal agility knee. This one's fun. Athletic. So you're going to juke to the side. You're going to juke to the other side. Jump. Raise the knee. All right? So real time. Back pedal. Boom, boom, boom. Back pedal. Next 15, we'll rock that other side. Pulse skier hops. We haven't done them with pulse, but we've done skier hops regularly, right? And they're like this. Right? So today we're going to do it with a pulse on the third. So 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. You're in tight on that squat portion. And pulsing on the third. That's me set. Juke up burpees. These are new. So you're going to laterally juke. Jump. Burpee. Juke, jump, burpee. It's going to be exhausting. No doubt about that. Tight twist hops after. Fun little one. You're hopping and you're twisting the feet. Hopping and twisting. Tight twist hops. Cheer hops next up. And you are in a squat. Cheering. Cheering and hop. Cheer hops. Chainsaws next on the menu. It's been a long time since we started that chainsaw. You're pulling the cord, right? And when you come up, you give a little hop back type thing. Alright? We'll do the other arm. Next 15 seconds. Glute bridge hop. Now we've never done the glute bridge with a hop. But we're gonna today. In the wet grass. So you could have your arms like this, or you could have them down like this, whatever's comfortable for you. And we know our glute bridge, right? So we're gonna do it with a hop. The explosion up. It's important there. Glute bridge hop. And last but not least, never will be least, absolutely, because it's crazy. Super duper trooper. So it's super duper move. Jump. Again, jump. Super duper trooper, because you're doing it progressively as we move forward. What up, West Coast Umbra? How you doing? Thanks for tuning in. You got about 1 minute, we'll get kicking it off here. Again, we're gonna talk about heart failure some more today at the end. If you wanna stick around for some good stuff. Beat die style, of course. Got the cleats on today, it's a little bit wet. Gotta be safe out here. Twisting ankles. Knee fly jump lunge first. Knee fly jump. Back pedal. Do it again. Climb donkey kick. Free back, frog hop. Jump. Ah. Ah. Scissor hop. Scissor stance. Other way. Other foot in front. Diagonal agility knee. Back pedal. Other way. You're in a skier hop. 1, 2, pulse. 1, 2, pulse in the third. Shoot to the side. Jump. Burpee. Chainsaw. Woo! It's gonna be tiring on the legs. Other side. Tight twist. Hop. Calm before the storm. Good job, guys. You're in a squat here. As you come up. Yeah. Super top. Super duper. It's hard today. It's hard. Yeah. Man, my legs are dying today. Thanks for tuning in. What's up, Ma? Woo! Knee fly, jump, knee fly, jump, knee fly, jump, knee fly, jump. Again. Knee fly, jump, knee fly, jump. Yeah. 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 Give me your frog hop. Jump. Down. Scissor stance. Hop. 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 Other way. Side agility, start the other way. Back pedal. Other side. Give me that down squat. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1. Tight twist hop. Get to the side. Jump. Burpee. Thanks, Other side. You're down in the squat. Come up. Cheer. Cheer. Yeah. Yeah, second circle almost done. Yeah. We're cheering. Move for a shot. Yeah. 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 Super duper.
I'm dying today. I'm gonna give you guys everything I got. I'm really dying today. Oh, we'll be good though. It's so hard. So you know. God. I know. This is really, man. You're gonna lunge, knee fly, jump, knee fly, jump. One more. Yeah. Yeah. Again. Knee fly. Jump, knee fly, jump, knee fly, jump, knee fly, jump. Rock up, jump. Climb donkey. Scissor. Ha. Ha. Yeah. Other way, other foot in front. Pulse. Ha. 1, 2. Pulse. Ha. To the side. Jump. Burpee. Twist him. Twist. Chainsaw. Other side. Squat. Cheer. Cheer. Glute bridge. Explode. Explode. Pause. Explode. Super duper. Yeah. Do it again. We got diagonal agility after. Go double. Other way. Ah. Two more. Lunge, knee fly, jump, knee fly, jump, knee fly, knee fly, jump. Again. Knee fly, jump, knee fly. Yeah. Jump. Yeah. Climb. Donkey. Scissor. Ha. 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 Other way. Good job, guys. I'm dying. Stay with me, please. Give me a side step. Jump. Burpee. Yeah. Diagonal agility. One more. Other way. Squat. Pulse. One. Pulse. Pulse. Cheer. Chainsaw. Other way. Do a bridge. Explode. Hold. Explode. 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 One more. Super duper. Again. We skip tight twist to make it harder because I'm dead. I have nothing left. And that's why we test it. That's why we test it. When when you feel like you're dying, just remind yourself you always have more. One more, 4 down. Knee fly, jump, knee fly, jump. Yeah. Yeah.
Frog hop.
Jump.
Climb.
Donkey. Two burpees. Scissor. Other side. Let's go. Last circuit. I'm dying too. Diagonal agility. Other way. Pulse. Hop. 1, 2, pulse. Take twist hop. Let's go. Pick it up. Left circuit. Cheer hop. Chainsaw. Other side. Super duper. Yeah. Yeah. Again. Yeah. Ah. Yeah. 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 Ah, good job. We're gonna talk. We're gonna talk. I gave you my heart and soul today. 1 second. Sorry if it wasn't pretty, but we got it done. All right. Today, diastolic heart failure. We're talking about congestive heart failure. And yesterday we talked about systolic, and that relates to the contraction of the ventricles and pumping blood out. And we talked about reasons like hypertension, coronary artery obstruction, that can cause it to shoot less blood out to the periphery, right? But that's a contractile issue. Today we're talking about the filling issue. So it's the dilation issue. Remember, systolic squeezes, diastolic dilates, right? Easy way to remember. And so this is also called heart failure with a preserved ejection fraction. What does that mean, Shane? Well, preserved ejection fraction. We know preserved. An ejection fraction is the percentage of blood that's in the ventricles that is ejected upon systole, or the squeezing contraction, when it shoots it out through the aortic valve. And so that percentage does not change with diastolic heart failure. It just has less blood in it, does the heart, the left side specifically, and majorly talking about the left ventricle here. So it can't fill with enough. So why can it not fill? Now it's shooting out less blood, of course, because it can't fill as much, but the percentage of the amount of blood that's in there is still going out, the same percentage. I think it's about 55 healthy people, 55 or more. So, I believe. So why would it not be able to expand? Let's picture a few things, and I think a water balloon is a great analogy. So we have this water balloon, or our left ventricle. Now, what if you had thickened all the layers of the water balloon like this? You thickened it so it got narrower. All right? These thicker walls, there would be less space for the blood, naturally, right? Not to mention how thick these walls are. They're hard, they're strong, they're hard to come open, to dilate, because the contractile strength, right? So we talk about hypertension. There's a few ways this can happen with this myocardial hypertrophy, right? Now, one way is congenital. You can have congenital hypertrophy of the myocardium, the heart muscle, right? And that's thickening. And when we talk about this thickening, we're talking about in a concentric sense, or around a central point, or in a circular fashion. And really what we mean in this concentric sense of hypertrophy is we are layering things like this. So next to each other, getting thicker all around the wall. So it closes in. This form of hypertrophy, as opposed to, we talked about a dilated cardiomyopathy yesterday. And that has eccentric strengthening. And what do we always say about eccentric movements? I'm sure the word is familiar to you if you've been with us for a while, or if you study any anatomy or anything like that. But this is, say, a bicep girl. We did biceps yesterday, so it's fitting. This is our concentric movement, the tightening of these muscle fibers. This is our eccentric, the lengthening. So think eccentric, you think lengthening. So what type of growth you think that is in the heart? Well, it's not thick-wise, it's lengthwise. It's like chains in a railroad car, or links of a chain, right? So they build side by side like this. So really it's like the bubble's opening, because it's getting more links. And when we talked about dilated cardiomyopathy yesterday in relation to systolic heart failure, the issue was that the walls had gotten too thin. And so there was no contractile force at some point, and the heart couldn't pump blood. But today we're talking about diastolic failure, and that's just a necessary premise in our discussion of concentric hypertrophy, where we're at right now. So it could be congenital, this concentric or thickening type of hypertrophy, right? It could be congenital. It could be due to hypertension. So what did we say? If everything is backed up, right? It's a domino effect. If your peripheral arteries clogged up, they're resistant to flow, the heart's got to work harder to pump it through that aorta, right? Your left ventricle's got to work extra hard to pump blood through the aorta. And what happens? It has to get stronger to do that. So it thickens the myocardium in a concentric sense. And now it's thicker, 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 less room for expansion when it wants to dilate in diastole, right? And that's what this is all about today. And so another way is aortic valve stenosis. And when we talk about stenosis, yeah, Bree, one wellness workout time, baby. Thanks for tuning in. Hope you're doing great. Miss you. And Cody. Where was I? So aortic valve stenosis. So stenosis just means narrowing, right? So if that aortic valve is narrower, where the left ventricle is going to pump blood out of, through it to get to the aorta and to peripheral arteries, well, it's got to work harder. It's narrowed. It's got to work harder to shoot it through, right? Get it through there. And so what happens? The myocardium has to get stronger, and hence your concentric hypertrophy once again. So those are three mechanisms by which we can get hypertrophy. But that's not the only way that diastolic heart failure, the onset, can be caused, right? Another way is, say you have that water balloon, but it's not elastic. It's too rigid, and it just can't expand. This is a restrictive cardiomyopathy. And so it's non-elastic cardiomuscle, right? So it's really stiff and it just can't open. That's another way it won't be able to dilate enough to get enough blood during diastole. And one more cool way, at least true way, is the compression picture. There's our heart or water balloon. The compression from the outside. Something outside of it could also compress it, so when it tries to dilate, it can't. It's being squeezed from the outside. And cardiac tamponade is a great example of that. And what is cardiac tamponade? It is the buildup of fluid in the pericardium, or the connective tissue surrounding the heart. So this tissue surrounding the heart, this layer it's wrapped in, if you will, is full of fluid, and that fluid is compressing the heart, and it can't open. So that's not a myocardial issue. That's an external issue in the sense of the pericardium. Now, the pericardium could be full of fluid, or it could just be thicker. So a thickened pericardium will have the same effect. If it's really thick on the outside and the heart's trying to dilate, it's squeezing it, it can't dilate, right? Have fun. I want you to remember this stuff. It's fun. So I think it's pretty neat. I'm sure you do too. So those are a few ways we can begin our road in talking about diastolic heart failure. So now where are we at? All right. Well, whether it's because the muscles are too thick, the muscles are too rigid, or they're getting compressed from the outside, and that left ventricle can't dilate enough to take in all that blood during diastole, there is a common denominator, and that is the fact that your left ventricle is going to have to work much harder now to open up. So now it's working hard to dilate. Yesterday we talked about it having to work hard to pump, squeeze, and get the blood out, right? Due to restrictions, right? And things like hypertension and coronary artery atherosclerosis. But today, it's got to work hard to squeeze. So what does it do? It increases. So in that water balloon, now what if you increase the pressure a lot? And you fought anything squeezing on it, any thickness, any rigidness. You increase the pressure in it. So intraventricular pressure increases. Your body is extremely intelligent and adaptable. It recognizes this problem and it makes a strong effort to fix it in a great way. There is a downside. So this intraventricular pressure is increased. And everything's a domino effect. So what happens now through the mitral valve, where blood is coming from the left atrium into the left ventricle, so going back up, right? There's regurgitation of blood because the pressure is so great in the left ventricle. They can't contain it all, and it squeezes some, goes back into the left atrium. What happens then? Domino, like we said, goes back through our pulmonary veins, which are carrying oxygenated blood from the lungs to the left atrium of the heart. And so it backs up through these pulmonary veins. The pulmonary veins are the only veins in the body that carry oxygenated blood, by the way. Every other vein carries deoxygenated blood. Okay, so the pulmonary arteries actually carry deoxygenated blood from the right side of the heart. We're going to talk about that another day, but I just thought that was a fun fact you should know. Because veins, usually you think deoxygenated blood. This is the only exception. So, now we're backed up to the lungs. And what happens? We get to these capillaries all the way back at the lungs. And we have our alveoli here. And when we breathe in, Goes in, goes through the trachea, past the carina, the split, through our bronchi, yada yada yada, bronchioles, and we get down to our alveoli. And now that oxygen's going to diffuse through the elastic alveoli into the bloodstream to get carried to the heart. And vice versa, deoxygenated blood carrying carbon dioxide is going to diffuse the other way through the capillaries through the alveoli into the lungs to be expelled, right? So we know that. So that exchange is happening, oxygen and CO2, at the alveolar junction with the capillaries, right? So now we have all this blood backed up and this fluid backed up. And what happens? The alveoli start to fill with fluid. And you get this pulmonary edema, and aka congestion, hence the name in congestive heart failure. See, it all makes sense if we just break it down, right? And so now this fluid is built up in the alveoli. So we've got a big issue here. So now you're breathing, right? And it takes a longer time now for that oxygen or CO2, whichever way it's going, to get from the alveoli to the capillaries, or from the capillaries through the alveoli, because there's fluid in the alveoli. It has to travel through all that fluid now. It used to be able to go right through the membrane. Now it's got to travel through all this fluid. And what does that mean? It makes it more difficult to breathe, of course. Makes sense. So now it's more difficult to breathe, and you get dyspnea, or difficulty breathing. And that's where the dyspnea comes from in congestive heart failure with pulmonary edema. You also get orthopnea as a result, and that just means difficulty breathing when lying down or recumbent. Because what do you think would happen? If this is your alveoli and it's half full of fluid, what if you laid down? Which way is it facing if your head's over here? Now the fluid can just run, and it's like, whoa, I gotta get up. Fluid, there's fluid. It's not a laughing matter. It's a sad thing, but obviously it's gonna suck to lay down, right? I mean, the fluid's just gonna travel up. You don't want that, right? So orthopnea is another result. And another big problem. Now you got all this blood backed up to the capillaries at the lungs, right? And these capillaries are little, and they're not used to carrying this much blood at a time. And they're so congested that something's got to give. Boom! Blood bursts out of them. So what happens? Bursts out of them, goes through your alveoli, it diffuses through the alveoli, and now you got blood in the alveoli. So what does your body say? It says, we gotta clean this crap up. We can't have blood in the alveoli. So it sends macrophages there, right? Our Pac-Man cells. Our phagocytic eating cells. So these macrophage Pac-Man come, and they say, all right, we're gonna eat up all these extra red blood cells that have burst from the capillaries into the alveoli. And so they go chomping away. And what happens is these macrophages, they are called hemosiderin-laden macrophages. And the reason is, remember when we talked about red blood cells, and I think we briefly spoke about anemia. We'll designate some time to anemias if you guys are interested. Many different types. But when we talked about, I think it was B vitamin week last week, and the contribution of formation of heme, the non-protein portion of hemoglobin, which is bound to iron. Well, that's in a red blood cell. That's all within the red blood cell, right? The hemoglobin, right? So, and the heme and the iron has. So when that red blood cell bursts, and from the capillaries to the alveoli, and you have this burst red blood cell, what are its products that are getting cleaned up? Iron blood. So why do you think they're called hemosiderin-laden macrophages? Heme means blood, siderin means iron. If you know the root, it makes so much sense. So blood iron eating macrophages, really is what they just could call it, And these cells have another name that I'm sure you'll remember better: heart failure cells. And the presence of these heart failure cells, or hemosiderin-laden macrophages, is an indicator of the stage of congestive heart failure where we're at now, at this point in our discussion. So I hope you got something out of that. It might have been a lot today, but really, really cool topic. That's it for left-sided heart failure in terms of congestive heart failure. We're going to talk about right-sided heart failure tomorrow, and how left-sided heart failure can cause right-sided. It's all domino effect. It's all related. We'll get to it tomorrow. Thank you very much. Have a great rest of your day. And we'll do either core or backpack tomorrow. Not sure yet. You'll know in the morning. Thank you very much, and we'll see you then.